Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Mr. 10 Bagger with 10 Bagger Stocks. I'm just testing this out. This is my first market breakdown. We're going to be looking at the Nasdaq 100 futures chart, and I plan on doing a lot more of these breakdowns, and I'm going to try and do it every day. I want to make it a regular thing, but right now I'm just testing it out, testing out my camera and the microphone and my screen recorder, and just seeing how everything works out over here. And obviously, clearly what I see is that I need a new camera because I want to look sexy for you guys while I'm on these videos, and this camera is just not doing the trick for that. So probably be getting a new webcam soon. So looking at the Nasdaq, I was very bearish based on the patterns that I was seeing in the Nasdaq. I saw the bearish head and shoulders over here, which looked very clear to me. We broke bearish, but the bears weren't able to get too much follow through. We consolidated just below the previous support. The bulls brought it right back up, trapped a lot of bears over here. As you can see, the high volume over here, this means a lot of people went short, and this means a lot of people panic sold, and this means institutions were loading up. And now we got a lot of shorts, a lot of bears sitting in the red, bag holding their short positions, trying to stop that market from going up because everybody's thinking it's going to crash. So when everybody's thinking it's going to crash, it's probably not going to crash right now. So now we got a lot of bears in the red. We got a lot of bulls, or a lot of people that just panic sold. And now they're getting FOMO as they see this going up. They want to get back in on the action. And that's why I could see this move going higher, especially the way we're looking over here. And this is a live chart. This is the daily candle for the Nasdaq futures right now. And if this pulls through throughout tomorrow, this is exactly what the bulls want to see. We want to see the healthy consolidation on the daily chart, and then the next day, come Thursday, we want to see the bulls break out, possibly break the all-time high on the Nasdaq, so we can push to further blue sky breakout and new territories on the Nasdaq. Perhaps we'll be moving up to 14,000, 15,000 on the Nasdaq and the Nasdaq 100. It looks very possible now. And as you can see, we got the low, the high, the higher low, and the higher high on the daily. So we're looking good over there. We're back in an uptrend on the daily. On the weekly, and this is where there is a little bit to be concerned, is that definitely the bears and other people are going to scout this, the all-time high, as a resistance area. And what the bears are going to do, they're going to be top fishing around here, taking that chance. And you can top fish too. And your stop loss is if it passes this all-time high right here, you leave with a small loss on your short position. And if it pans out, you'll probably see a decent pullback for the bulls to set a higher low before potentially moving up to set that higher high. That would be healthy action. But it is very possible the bulls make this a V-shaped recovery. We head straight to all-time highs. We consolidate a little bit, and then we keep moving higher and continuing this everlasting bull market. We look on the monthly chart. There was a lot of red flags over here. We saw the indecision candlestick. We had the reversal candlestick. We had the bearish hanging man candlestick. And yet with even all of these red flags, the bulls are pushing through. Let's look back at the weekly over here. And I was looking at this and I saw this as a very potential bear flag over here. It looked very clear. And the bulls passed right through. It broke resistance. They negated the bear flag. And what happens is, in a failed bear pattern, that tends to see significant gains for the bulls. And a failed bull pattern tends to see a significant drop so that the bears can capitalize off of that. So this is a failed bear pattern, and now the bulls are running with it, trapped a lot of bears in the red over here. Nasdaq's looking good overall. I was not too happy with the charts. I was thinking we were headed lower, but after I'm seeing this kind of price action, it does not look too concerning right here. The bulls are really fighting, and they're showing a lot of strength. Looking at a few other stocks over here, we can take a look at, let's look at Bitcoin over here. We'll just give a quick breakdown on Bitcoin over here. And I haven't really looked at this chart too much, but what's happening is the bulls are really consolidating over here. Bitcoin is a little bit unsure of what the next move is, and that's why we're seeing this consolidation pattern over here, but we are seeing some progress. We got our low, our high. We're trying to set a higher low over here before we push up and break those all-time highs on Bitcoin. So it's looking healthy right now. This could even be a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern right over here. We're consolidating right around this previous resistance area here, which is a healthy sign. We're holding above the middle Bollinger Band on the daily, which again is showing strength. I don't see any red flags on Bitcoin right now. It's pulled back a little bit, but it does not look concerning as of now. I think so long as Bitcoin holds this yellow line, which is the 50-day moving average, Bitcoin continues to be strong and in a bull market, because as you can see, you go back and Bitcoin has held this yellow line all the way since it was still around $10,000. So definitely this yellow line, the 50-day moving average, is a little bit of a line in the sand where you want to see Bitcoin hold this level to continue its bull run. Now, if we look back over here, which is just an interesting fact, we see, this is the daily chart, we see the yellow line move above the dark purple line. The dark purple line is the 200-day moving average, and the 50-day is the yellow line. So when the 50-day moves above the 200-day moving average, it's considered, or it's called, a golden cross, which often suggests, not always, but often, that some significant gains are set to come. And they tend to not come instantly when the cross happens. They tend to come later, as you can see. And since that signal right there, that indicator, Bitcoin has seen some significant gains. We got about a 600% gain since then, because that triggered when it was just $9,000. Let's take a look on the weekly chart. Again, healthy consolidation on the weekly for Bitcoin. Bears are obviously trying to hold this recent high as the resistance area, but no red flags for the bulls right now. This is healthy kind of action. It's cooling off the RSI. We can potentially see the bulls move back up here and test this upper Bollinger Band on the weekly. But one thing to keep of note is the MACD is slowly converging, and if the bulls are taking too long with this move and the MACD converges, we could see a little bit of a pullback on Bitcoin. But as of now, I don't see any red flags. We look on the monthly. We are most definitely very overbought on the monthly. We're at 89 RSI, which is quite high. Of course, it can go higher. We are still in a blue sky breakout territory, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish months in a row. Can this be Bitcoin's first red month? It's very possible. And it's also very possible the bulls push right back up and we push for 70,000 plus. Looking good overall. No concerns over there. Ethereum is showing more strength than Bitcoin right now because Ethereum broke those all-time highs set recently. And we're breaking out on the weekly. And what's great about this is that we're breaking out, but the RSI isn't too overextended. It still has room to run on both the daily and the weekly. Keep some caution here. We are seeing this sideways trading action over here, but again, no real concerns. We broke this high over here without much follow through, but I'm not seeing any real concerns. If we break below this upward trend support line, we could see a little bit of a pullback in Ethereum, but right now we're looking good. We got our double bottom over here. You look on the weekly, we set that higher low and we continued the uptrend. The uptrend was never broken. Even though it did this big pullback all the way down to 1300, the uptrend was never broken. And that was a healthy move because we set that low. We set a lower high, then we set a higher low, and now we're breaking out. No red flags over here right now. The only red flag I see really is how overbought we are on the monthly chart on the RSI. Definitely quite a bit overextended. But no signs that you should sell or short right now as far as I can see. I think that's all I'm going to take a look at today. And, you know, maybe I'll take a look at SZLS just because I know a lot of people are watching the stock over here, which hasn't been very pretty. Okay, we had this big break gap down. Okay, this is called a breakaway gap, and this is a breakdown. Huge volume. A little bit of a red flag is that we broke the lows of that previous day, but at the same time, the bulls picked it up. We got a lower wick of buying the dip. As far as I could see, we'll probably see a green day tomorrow on SZLS and move up to test the 4-day moving average, the red line. I don't think we're going to see a significant green day, but it's very possible we get a 5, 10, 15% jump on the stock with an oversold bounce. On the weekly chart, we broke below the middle weekly Bollinger Band, which is quite a bit of a red flag. We haven't been below that Bollinger Band since we were just around the 70 cents area. Okay, we broke the 50-day, we broke the 100-day. The bulls pulled it back above the 150-day right now. Tested around the 200-day, which is 81 cents. But the bulls are holding that. And I'm expecting that to hold at least for a little bit. We got another little bit of a volume spike today. And you can imagine everyone who was going to sell and take their loss, most people who would have sold and take their loss, they would have done so already by this point. And for that reason, we may see a little bit of short covering and a little bit of a bounce in the stock. So we will keep an eye on that. I think that's all. Let's take a look at Bombardier too. I like Bombardier. Keeping an eye on this stock. Has been on a very bullish trend, as you can see. And what's very notable is that it's closed above the red line for many, many days in a row now, where it's been closing above this red line and showing a lot of strength, just riding the 4-day moving average up. And I see as long as it's holding that 4-day moving average, Bombardier is in a bullish trend. If we pass this recent high over here with this bit of a volume spike, we can see some more outsized gains. The real resistance on Bombardier, if we look back in history, is around 110. Is this previous support area. So around 110 we're looking. And we're also seeing the 100-week moving average here at 106. So these are some potential resistance areas to keep in mind. But as of now, still showing strength, although it is quite a bit overbought on the RSI. Nothing too dramatic. We have to remember when we look back and look at this stock, this is a terrible performing stock. This goes all the way back to 2000 and this stock got crushed. Bombardier is one of those stocks that's like BlackBerry and ACB, where it just continues to punish shareholders over and over and over again. Every time they seem to go up, they seem to come back down. But a good sign right here is that Bombardier is coming up over the middle monthly Bollinger Band, which is showing a lot of strength. Okay, and when I looked, what's interesting to see and take note, because I said this about Bitcoin too, take a look right here. Yellow line crossed above the dark purple line, the 50-day moved above the 200-day, and that was still back when it was around 50 cents. So it had a golden cross, and since then, it's doubled. Sometimes this signal works out very well. Not always. There's a lot of false registers, but it tends to work out very well. And it goes the opposite way as well. It's called a death cross. Let's look back. Bombardier had a death cross. Where was the death cross? It happened. Where was it? Right over here, it looks like. That's the last death cross I see. And it was back at that time $4.20. And as you can see, from that death cross signal, it dropped as low as, so what's down here? What was the low? 26 cents. So death cross can work quite well too when you just take a look and you're looking for that death cross. Bang, had the death cross at $4, dropped all the way down to 26 cents. Then we saw some progress over here in the chart on Bombardier, and where we were hitting these lower lows, where we weren't going that much lower. But I guess the key right here was we set that higher low on the daily, and after that happened, the bulls just came back running and we've been uptrending ever since. And if you take a look at the weekly, we are in a weekly uptrend. We got our low, our high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low, and our higher high. No red flags over here right now, but it is a little bit overbought. And just historically speaking, this is one of those stocks that sure, it goes up sometimes, but it tends to always come right back down to screw shareholders. This is one of those stocks: Aurora Cannabis, BlackBerry, Bombardier, and SZLS. The stocks that they give you hope, but they tend to always end up getting crushed again later. We will see if that continues to be the case, or if perhaps 2021 and further is the time when that trend actually changes, because Bombardier is really on a new track right now. They got rid of their train business, and now they're focusing solely on private jets, making private jets, and which I heard was a booming business right now, because a lot of the rich people, they don't want to fly on commercial jets, especially with viruses and COVID and masks and all that kind of stuff. So they're looking, the private jet business is expanding, and that is good for Bombardier. That is all for today I'm going to do in this video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will talk soon on my further market updates. I'll probably do it once I get a new camera. See ya.